I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So there is goodies up here. Don't be shy. Roll call, please.
Counselor Gerson. Present. Counselor Goble.
Here.
Counselor Goodwin.
Present.
Mayor Gorley.
Here.
Counselor Mahler.
Here.
Counselor Trask.
Here.
Counselor Underwood.
Excused. So let the record show we have 6 present and 1 excused. Tonight we will have a public hearing at 6:30, which is right now. Public hearing to designate city property as surplus and authorize its sale or lawful disposal. Pat?
As you're all aware, we've gone out and decided, council has decided that we no longer have the use for the property at 1739th Avenue, which was our former water treatment plant. We've had the equipment, we had the building surplus, we had it demolished. We've got all the approval on the property and everything. We had an appraiser come out and do an appraisal on it. So we are meeting the ORS guidelines that we've had the appraisal, we're doing the public hearing. We published a notice in the New Era on December 7th. We need to declare the value and state why the city no longer needs the property. So the value under the county tax rolls has it listed as $302,440. The appraisal came in with a value conclusion of $250,000. So we've declared the value, now we need to declare why we no longer need it. Because we have no use for it.
Okay.
That's what my understanding is. We would prefer to sell it in order to use the funds to help us the remodel of our new city hall. Help with that.
Okay. Any questions from council before we go any further?
I guess what I'm not opposed to the idea of selling it, using the resources to deal with remodel expenditure. I just wanna make sure we're making sure it goes to the best use. That's a challenge. It's riverfront property, it's a nice location, so, you know, is an outright sale the best approach? Do we want to incorporate some kind of a zoning to try and encourage business in that location? Or a certain development of that location? What are we thinking about for the location? I mean, I could see putting in, prior to selling it or as part of selling it, a multifamily requirement or something like that, or some kind of a beneficial use of it other than just selling it for whoever wants it, which may not be the most beneficial use.
I think we've talked about some things, but I think some of it is
It's zoned R1.
zoned R1.
We had a conditional use permit for municipality. So if somebody were to go back in and purchase a property and do anything with it, if they were not gonna do an R1 zoning, they would have to come back to the planning commission in the city to get a variance or a conditional use permit.
To do some sort of a business because it is R1.
We do wanna make sure we put in there that we would like to continue with an easement for a walking path along the waterfront too. So that would be tied into the sale of it, keep an easement.
So do we have any other questions from council?
I mean, it'd be hard pressed to ever be business down there because you're in the middle of residential. Business, you'd have to be more out in the beaten path of these.
Well,
residential makes more sense.
Mr. Mayor, my question would be, how can we dictate to them what they want to put on it if it's R1? Unless they do come back with a, and if we try to sell it to someone and they want to rezone it as something else, then that might kill the sale. I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know. I'm not necessarily opposed to what Councilor Goodwin says, but I mean, we need just to get the biggest bang for our buck.
would rezoning make it worth more money or not?
I don't know if I'd have the answer to that question.
Because we can rezone it even after
Um,
it's sold.
That would be a planning commission decision, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that would be
I
something
mean,
for the planning
it can
commission.
be rezoned.
I did put the appraisal on our website, and I did notify some people who were interested in it, and the appraisal is on there in the public hearing tonight, too, so.
So you said the county, what did they,
The county has it appraised and on their website at 302, well, the land, they had 109,000. The improvements, they have 193,000, for a total of 302,000. They do have the project, the subject property is accessible, because it's granted, because the government owns it. But once it becomes no longer owned by the government or used for governmental purposes, then it becomes money on the tax rolls.
There was an organization that was expressing interest, is that kind of?
I
died off?
notified them. Yeah, I notified them. I couldn't email it to them because it was too large of a packet. But I did email the person and let him know that it was on our website and where to get it and the public hearing. He thanked me and said he would look at it. So I'm hoping we hear something.
I guess the concern that I was getting at, and like I said, I mean, we probably should move forward with the sale, but when I look at Sweet Home, I see a very interesting phenomenon, which is that the properties that would normally be the most desirable are not. A lot of the areas along the river are not being developed in some of the nicest ways there, and so, you know, and so my concern is that if we just sell it, you know, without any restrictions, without any kind of guidance, that we could end up with more of, you know, somebody coming in and buying it and putting a bunch of manufactured homes there. You know, that could be what happens to this property, this sort of thing. So, you know, as opposed to saying, let's put a hotel there, right along the river. You know, and I know you said that's not where it's going right now, but could we shape that? Could we encourage that? Could we give a huge tax break to somebody who comes in and puts something nice there? I'm just, you know, I'm fielding the question. Like I said, we probably should move forward with the sale, but I would love to see us shift our focus toward, can we make the river the place to be as opposed to one of the poorer areas of town, and get more investment in there and improve things and make it better, you know, so it's more desirable, utilize that resource. So.
I think changing from the municipal water supply to something else is gonna make a big difference in that particular street, so.
And it'd be nice if you could get a company to come in there because it is conform that, just like we did with Weimar and got some improvements on our streets. You know, it would be nice if somebody came in there and helped us go enhance or helped us improve the right of way down there. Like along Vine Street, along 12th Avenue are all improved, very nice with sidewalks. We definitely need some street improvement to get down into that area.
Okay, so we will move on with our public hearing. Any more questions from council? Any questions from the floor on this? Okay, so we're gonna start off with comments from those in support of the matter. Applicant or his or her representative shall start first, which is the city. Comments from those in opposition to the matter. Comments from those who are not necessarily in support nor in opposition to the matter. City staff shall make further presentation if appropriate, and then a brief rebuttal by all parties in the same general order as the original presentation, then we'll close the public hearing. We'll have discussion by council, and then we may, we will move that to our request. All right, so at this time, we'll take comments in support of the matter. That would be us.
Don't have anything else to say.
I think just, it's important to do this, we need the funds to develop that. There's a very little, you know, support in the public for, you know, some kind of a tax increase or bond to develop the city hall. So to the extent that we can, we've got ourselves, we've saved a lot of money by getting a, you know, a building that we can use and the extent that we can sell something like this and get the funds to make that development, I think it'll be very, very well received by the public, showing that we're being responsible with our resources and not just trying to always ask for more money.
Okay, do we have anybody in opposition to selling the property? Do we have anybody not in opposition or in support? Comments at all? So if we have none at this time, there's no comments for rebuttal, no need for any further presentation, so we will close the public hearing at 7:41. 6:41. Shoot, we're normally 7. Now discussion by council. I think we've talked about this in the past, that we're not in the business of maintaining property or keeping property, that we would like to get it out there where we would have somebody own it and start being productive with that property. I think it's a good thing for us to do. What do you think?
We need to move forward.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So let's go on. That will come up. Where does that come up, Pat?
Legislation is
Under
resolution to surplus the property.
Okay. Under legislation. All right. Consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Recognition of visitors and hearing of petitions. Anybody have anything they want to bring forward? Okay. Old business, request for council action, a resolution. What?
Do you need that past 3 topics?
That's consent agenda.
Yeah, but request for council, request for council action.
These are all under the consent agenda.
It's a new way.
So Eva Journey and Alice Smith have been appointed, is what you're saying, under the consent agenda.
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted clarification if that's how it would be second.
If people do not want the consent agenda in its entirety, then they need to pull it from the consent agenda to talk about it.
asking if something be removed.
I know this was a change we done, I just
Right.
wanted to clarify that that was the easy, oversee.
And we do not have to have this put on the consent agenda. You can pull them off whenever you want. So we went through hearing of petitions and recognition of visitors. Under old business, request for council action, a resolution for the city of Sweet Home establishing a policy for naming publicly owned properties and facilities. Robert?
Just basically, on your RCA, it points out that, we've talked about this before about, renaming, and I copied it, mostly from, Cresthill, I think it was. And, we talked about some sections in there, if I remember correctly, the section in there that we changed is that, I believe they pulled out the, section on naming the street twice. But other than that, it's what we talked about before, so it's ready for a resolution.
Okay. Do we have a motion in a second?
Make a motion to move to this.
Second.
Okay. So that will be moved to a resolution. Under new business, request for council action, a resolution combining the admin and finance and the property committee.
Yes, you had a draft of this before, and we discussed it at the work session and everything, and it's just basically that we talked about combining the committees to save council members time and meetings, and streamlining the system a little, and this was one of their recommendations, so the resolution is there for you to combine those two committees that will be then known as just the admin and finance committee, and will take on any property committee questions in the future that would normally get sent to the old property committee.
Okay, do we have a motion and a second on this?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded, so this will move down to resolution number 33, 2016. A request for council action, a resolution approving the marijuana tax collection agreement.
Yes, this is also, you had in draft form before, and we talked about it, presented to council. We had passed a collection ordinance before, and then the state basically came along and was approached by the league, I believe, in cities, and said, could you possibly just basically collect the local tax when you collect your own tax, the state tax? And so they came up with a, it's in the back of the agreement, the proposed agreement, or one very similar, I'm assuming, to it, would be the marijuana tax collection agreement. This is part of the resolution for the collection of the tax, and having the city enter into that if they want to do it that way. We also tonight passed an ordinance that will allow that tax as an alternative collection process. That's what the ordinance will do first, and then the resolution, if the ordinance passes for the third time, then the resolution after that will enter into the, give authority to the city staff to enter into the marijuana tax collection agreement with the state to collect the 30% liquor tax. And we want to basically, the expediency clause left on the ordinance, mainly because our plan is to, if it all passes and the resolution passes and we present the papers to the state, is to get them there as quickly as possible in case they have some other hoops they want us to go through, because they're talking about maybe coming up, the first-ish part of January.
All right. Any questions from council? Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. And we'll move on to resolution number 34 for 2016. Request for council action, resolution proclamations.
Customary that we do a proclamation accepting and declaring the results of our last election.
Do we have that for me to read, or?
That should be 64.
Fine?
Yep.
Okay. All right, there it is. I walked by that earlier. Whereas there has been put to the voters of the city of Sweet Home declarations of candidacy to fill vacancies on the city council, and whereas declarations of candidacy were open upon in the statewide general election November 8th, 2016, and whereas the results of said election have been counted, canvassed, and returned. Now therefore, I, James Gorley, Mayor of the City of Sweet Home, do proclaim as follows. The outcome of the voting of the council positions described above was Teresa Howard, 960. Diane E. Gerson, 1,097. Lisa Gorley, 1,442. James Goebel, 1,305. Dave Trask, 1,519. Susan M. C. Coleman, 928. Andrew Allen, 1,083. Lisa Pye, 743. Write-ins, 115. Overvotes, 8. Okay, so Dave Trask, James J. Goebel, and Lisa Gorley will fill the 4-year terms, and Diane Gerson will fill the 2-year term on the city council, proclaimed this 13th day, December 2016, by Jim Gorley, Mayor of City of Sweet Home. And we didn't quite have as close of a one as last time when we had a coin flip. I believe we do, don't we? We have to read the proclamation on the next page too. Okay. Whereas there has been referred to the voters of the City of Sweet Home Measure 22-158 bearing the following title: the City of Sweet Home prohibits marijuana. Shall the City of Sweet Home prohibit certain medical marijuana dispensaries in the City of Sweet Home, which as the measure was voted upon at a state general election held on November 8th, 2016, and whereas the said result have been counted, canvassed, and returned, and whereas the mayor shall issue a proclamation as follows. Now therefore, I, James Gorley, Mayor of the City of Sweet Home, do proclaim as follows. Section 1, the canvassing of the voting on the measure above described shows the following results. Yes, 1,498, no, 2,049. Overvotes 3, undervotes 135. And a majority of those who voted on the measure were against it. The city recorder shall publish and post the proclamation and shall file it with the measure. Proclaimed this 13th day of December 2016 by James M. Gorley, Mayor. Another proclamation. Whereas there has been referred to the voters of the City of Sweet Home Measure 22-159 bearing the following title: the City of Sweet Home prohibits marijuana. Shall the City of Sweet Home prohibit registered marijuana processing sites and licensed marijuana producers, processors, wholesalers, and retailers, which the measure was voted upon in a statewide general election on November 8, 2016, and whereas the result of said election have been counted, canvassed, and returned, and whereas the mayor shall issue a proclamation as follows. Now therefore I, James Gorley, Mayor of the City of Sweet Home, do proclaim as follows. Section 1, the canvassing and the voting on the measure above described shows the following results. Yes, 1,590, no, 1,940. Overvotes 0, undervotes 155. And a majority of those who voted on the measure were against it. Section 2, the city recorder shall publish it or post this proclamation and shall file it with the measure. Proclaimed this 13th day of December 2016, James Gorley, Mayor. And the last one, I think. Whereas there has been referred to the voters of the City of Sweet Home Measure 22-160 bearing the following title: City of Sweet Home marijuana or tax marijuana. shall the city of Sweet Home impose 3% tax on the sale of marijuana items by a marijuana retailer, which the measure was voted upon at a statewide general election held on November 8, 2016, and whereas the result of said election have been counted, canvassed, and returned, and whereas the mayor shall issue a proclamation as follows. Now therefore, I, James Gorley, the mayor of the city of Sweet Home, do proclaim as follows. Section 1. The canvassing and voting on the measure above described shows the following results. Yes, 2,693, no, 849. Overvotes 2, undervotes 141. And a majority of those who voted on the measure were in favor of it. The measure becomes effective January 1st, 2017. The city recorder shall publish or post the proclamation and shall file it with the measure. Proclaimed this 13th day of December, 2016, James Gorley, Mayor. Okay. So, we are down to legislation. Ordinance Bill number 5 for 2016.
This will need a roll call, this is the third reading.
Okay. Can you read that by title only?
Correct. Ordinance Bill number 5 for 2016, ordinance number 12054, Sweet Home ordinance providing for an alternative collection and process for the local 3% marijuana tax on the sale of marijuana items by a marijuana retailer with expediency clause and declaring an emergency.
Roll call, please.
Council Mahler,
Aye.
Councilor Trask,
Aye.
Councilor Underwood, Councilor Gerson. Aye. Councilor Vogel, Councilor Goodwin, Mayor Gorley.
Aye. Record shows 6 ayes and 1 excused. Resolution number 32 for 2016.
Resolution number 32 for 2016, a resolution of the Sweet Home City Council establishing a policy for naming publicly owned properties or facilities.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 32 for 2016.
We've already had a motion and a second to move it down, so those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. With 6 ayes and 1 excused. Resolution number 33 for 2016.
Resolution number 33 for 2016, a resolution combining the Administration and Finance Committee and Property Committee.
Okay, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes with 6 ayes and 1 excused. Resolution number 34 for 2016.
Resolution number 34 for 2016, a resolution to designate property as surplus and authorize its sale or lawful disposal.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes with 6 ayes and 1 absent. Resolution number 35 for 2016.
Resolution number 35 for 2016, a resolution approving the marijuana tax collection agreement.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes with 6 ayes and 1 excused. All right, election result proclamations, we already read those. Do we need to have a motion accepting the results of the, so we need to have a motion to accept the results of the election.
Papa did.
We have a second?
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes with 6 ayes and 1 excused. Before we get to council reports, I saw some folks come in. Did you have anything that you wanted to bring before
No, I
council?
just wanted
this
to
time?
listen.
Okay. Under council reports, do we have anything from council?
Just wanted to apologize for not being able to stay at the work session the other week. I just wasn't feeling well and was not able to persist in the meetings, unfortunately.
We'd rather you take off than get us sick. Committee reports, admin and finance, no report at this time. Parks board,
We had a meeting Monday, maybe yesterday, and we talked about the budget for next year, about some lighting issues, combining the tree commission, and, Mike, was there anything else I'm missing there?
I don't think so, we're just gonna be talking more on the budget, for next year,
Yeah.
and, I think we,
And some work that we did at Strawberry Park, or that you're working on that too, and then getting the handrail made at North Side and the water fountain back in.
water
And
fountain in the
that's
spring.
early next quarter, whenever it is, and so, I think that pretty much covers it, so, anyway.
okay. Public safety,
Yeah, we had a meeting just before this meeting, and, we talked about combining the traffic safety and public safety, and that is gonna happen, we're not opposed to that. And then the residential habitability, well, whatever it's called, the livability kind of thing, we're gonna put that off until next year, so I can get more information from the other two cities instead of Corvallis, because they didn't have much information, and then the city property exclusion ordinance, which is the ordinance to, be able to have the police be able to, keep those folks off of the property if they've been cited or have broken the law at some, and, Chief Lynn says that would give them some more, ability to handle some of those things if they're being disruptive. And so that kind of was, and I think we're all for that, and then the animal control issue, we wanna have a little better coordination with the county, and Jeff said he's gonna meet with them and try to get some help there. And then there was a street maintenance fee brought up, and, we're gonna try to address that in a future work session at some point. And then the last one's a special event, total solar eclipse, and I agree with Jeff, I don't know why this came up, but it could be, I guess it could be a pretty substantial thing. So he's looking at trying to figure out if we're gonna have issues, and if we do, we'll address those at the time. So I guess he said there was a big deal in Madras, it's huge or something anyway, so we'll have to research that somewhat, but that's in August or something of next year, so.
I can tell you that the county parks are filling up,
Yeah, he said the motels and stuff are on there too, so,
so.
for a 2-minute thing, well, and I think the other gentleman said, it's longer than that, cause it takes time for it to go across and then go back away, so having lived through one of those, it's kinda cool, actually, it gets dark in the middle of the
How
day.
long ago was it? When the last-
I think somebody said 79, and it was in the 70s, late 70s.
Yeah.
Could I remember?
Yeah.
But on that subject, the council of governments, talked quite a bit about that at our last meeting. There was a lot of concern regionally about some of the impact of that. The anticipation is that we might have 400,000 people coming into our region on that day. Even basic logistical questions like porta potties aren't gonna be available, because there's never something where everybody has an event at the exact same time with that kind of numbers. So we're trying to think through logistical issues. The city will have to coordinate with other cities. Things like, normally if our fire department is overwhelmed or our ambulances are overwhelmed, we can call Brownsville or we can call Lebanon for help. They're gonna be overwhelmed too. The hospitals could get overwhelmed, the police services could have problems. So we're trying to think about a regional coordination, sort of strategy to deal with the problem of that large of an influx. There's talk of doing a partnership with ODOT to deal with traffic issues on I-5 and the major highways, because you basically have a giant parking lot on those days when that
Well,
many people
at
come in.
that time of day.
Well, there's for
People
the whole
will pull off,
weekend, but yeah.
but
Yeah.
people will
Yeah.
pull off the road.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be absolute chaos at that time, and going in and out of it is gonna be pretty chaotic, so there is a lot of coordination planned, and, it's beginning to be a regional discussion about how do we deal with some of those issues that, it's a once in a blue moon sort of, once in a solar eclipse
What's the
sort of
day,
event, so.
what's the day again? August?
Unfortunately or fortunately, it's in the middle of the week.
It's
a
Monday.
weekday, so,
No, it's Monday.
Monday after
It's
the
Monday.
well,
Brownsville Music Concert.
yeah, so.
It's
I
like
don't remember
7 in the
doing
morning or 8
anything
in the
last
morning.
time.
I agree with
10 in the
that.
morning.
I don't remember a big deal.
There was no big deal. The chickens all went to roost again, big deal, you know?
So, but this, I understand, it's gonna be big.
Oh, yeah,
So,
tour groups are coming from England, I mean, it's that kind of thing, where there are buses coming from other countries to come and see
Whatever.
things here, I mean, it's gonna be big, so.
If they wanna spend their money in Sweet Home, we'll let them.
Yeah.
And we gotta support them, make it a pleasant
Yeah.
experience.
So, Public Works. You were done, right?
yes, I am.
Traffic safety.
I'm hungry.
You had a traffic safety meeting tonight.
Yeah, it was the same stuff that we just talked
All
about.
right, Tree Commission,
No report, I'm still having trouble attending those meetings in the morning at 9, so.
yeah, we'll get that.
Yeah, that would be taken care of in the parks and
Goble, Mr. Goble,
youth, youths.
Youth Advisory, Chamber of Commerce,
No report.
Fire District.
I tell you, I wanna tell you that we have a tree, thing that we do over there for the Christmas stuff, and it never ceases to amaze me what the city of Sweet Home does, ever. We get more donations and that it just, and then we found out today, or I found out today, that, is it one of the TV stations in Beaverton or somewhere? Yeah, KTU. We applied to get some of their toys and we were given them. And so Thursday I'm gonna be going up there. I don't have any idea how many they are, but it's amazing. So that's where that's at, and it's going really well. And, we service about 300 or so. And I don't know how many Jeff takes care of with the older kids, but it's pretty substantial. So, anyway, public needs to know that we appreciate them. So, anyway.
Council of Governments.
A big part of the discussion at the last meeting is that solar eclipse issue, kind of talked a little bit about that. Also a lot of change taking place in city administrations for the various areas of the council. People resigning, retiring, being voted out, not as much of that, but some. One thing that they said is that it's becoming increasingly difficult to get city administrators. There's a generation of, and by that, city council representatives, mayors. There's a generation of people who've been serving in that capacity who are retiring, who are resigning from that, and cities are having a hard time finding people to do it. So it's kind of an interesting transitions going on.
Area Commission,
It was canceled because of the weather.
Solid Waste, Ad hoc Committee on Healthcare, no report at this time. Under Mayor's Report, I don't have anything to say. This is my last meeting, and I don't have anything to say.
Amazing. There are miracles.
Let's see. You're looking for it, I thought it was on the, City Manager's Report.
In your packet, you have some information, just want to make sure you were aware, Portland State University sent us our population estimate, 9,090 people. Comcast wanted you to know about some stations that they're going to be losing in their service.
Fox Sports one.
Yeah, ones that I would like to watch, actually.
I'm sure they'll get them back when they negotiate again, so that they've gotta have ability to walk away to have any
Right, right.
credibility, so.
It's, yeah, maneuvering position in negotiation, so. We were, let's see, moving on to December 15th, when we have our tour of the new city hall and our staff.
Of the new,
Yeah, the new building with the architect, which council is invited to, of course. We also have our staff potluck, and then we'll have a 30-minute training session as well. So City Hall will be closed during those times from 11:30 until 1:30. However, if council members are going to attend, we'll need to know so that we can notice it in case there's going to be a quorum. So if you could please RSVP to either Julie or I.
What was that about? You see, you got that little smile.
We, at the time we were looking to put the packets together, Robert and I were thinking we might have to have a special meeting. We will not need to do that, given the council's direction at the last meeting. And while our mayor has been humble and not made a farewell speech tonight, we will be recognizing the mayor on Friday from 4 until 6 o'clock. And Councilor Mahler has agreed to MC the event. And I've been told we need to make sure it's more of a roast than anything else. So,
Well, we'll roast them.
so again, we want to remind everybody, we want to make sure we take the time to thank the mayor for his 24 years of service on the council. That is outstanding and unheard of. Very, very, very few people are able to put up with that for 24 years. So thank you for your service, and we will continue that thanks on Friday. And the public is free to attend, so please do.
You said you were done, but stay to it.
I'm done. We do need to set one meeting, the 10th of January, 5:30 for an executive session. And we'll get the explanation of that. It'll be for police negotiations. Department directors reports. Finance director?
Okay, tomorrow is our first full court at the police department, so we're looking forward to it. And also our first video arraignment. We will be doing with Wally, our lawyer. Wally has left here and is now over at the police department, and we have some people lined up over in Lynn County to be video arraigned between 10:30 and 11, get half an hour slot. So that's all set up for our very first court over there. We did have a trial over there earlier on December 2nd. It went well. They played it out last minute, but it went well. So, and then also you mentioned the architect being here on the 15th. Also at 4:30 we had at the police department an open house, so you can come and see the court facility. Still in process because we don't have the wraparound yet for the front counter, but it's very nice and we appreciate it very much having court over there and setting up today. We still had to tear down tables and move chairs, but it went quick. And also Friday we have bench trials over there, so it'll be very busy. We did get our audit. Our audit came. I'll be putting it on the website and I'll be running it off and getting it ready for your meeting in January when we'll have the auditors come down.
Library services, Rose?
I just wanted to share with you about the Lynn Libraries Consortium. We've been sharing resources between the 5 libraries for the last 9 months. Sweet Home borrowed 832 items with a dollar value of $3,149. So that is a savings that we have to our budget. Overall, between the 5 libraries, 3,196 items were borrowed with a value of $10,491. So the consortium is really working out to the benefit of the Sweet Home patrons.
We don't have any planning services, anything on that, police chief.
Well, I simply want to echo what Councilor Trask had said about the giving nature of our community. Last Saturday, we had our Shop with a Cop experience, and we partnered with Bi-Mart on that, and had 41 kids from our local area to go through there. It was really an amazing time, and simply made available, made possible by the donations that come in from the community. We also have our sharing tree that had over 50 teens. We do it, the fire department does it for the real young ones. We try to catch those that may be underserved, and so presents will be delivered this weekend, Friday, and picked up Friday. So it's really a testament, like Councilor Trask said, to the giving nature of this community. Any questions?
Nope. Public Works.
Yes, was mentioned, the crew is working on getting the infrastructure in at Strawberry Park for the bathroom to be placed in prior to enlarging the parking lot according to the capital improvement plan. And so other than that, we're just keeping things going and preparing for the next ice slick roads, and that's bound to hit in the next couple of days, so.
City Attorney.
Just, we've been working on the Carol and I and city staff been working on the marijuana language through the zoning. And so we'll need a special council meeting on January 17th. We'll be discussing it before that, and she's putting out notices for a couple meetings before that, but this was a special meeting that the city manager wanted me to mention that will be.
Okay.
It's coming.
It is coming. And with that, we will adjourn at 7:17.